Greetings, fellow mathematicians. We're going to take a look at a slightly more challenging integral here that we'll solve with a substitution. Now, as you go through math professor training, you learn how to make any calculus problem harder. Put in trig functions, like we have here. This one's not too bad as long as you know your basic trig antiderivatives. Now, we don't have a lot of choices for our substitution, but there is an obvious one. We have square root of x inside the sine function. So let's try our u as the inner function, square root of x. For calculating the derivatives, I'm going to rewrite that instead of square root of x, I'll write that as x to the 1/2 power. That way we can apply the power rule for derivatives when we calculate du. So differentiate by bringing the power down. And subtract 1. 1/2 minus 1 will give you negative 1/2. And since we're working with differentials, we multiply by dx. And just to make the recognition of the different pieces here easier, let me write this back in terms of square roots. We have a negative 1/2 power. I can put that as a square root of x in the denominator. So I'll rewrite this as 1/2 square root of x dx. All right, and notice what we have. We do have a factor of square root of x in the denominator, which we have, but we're missing a factor of 1/2. So no problem, manipulate your differential, multiply both sides by 2 to get 2 du equals 1/square root of x dx. And now we should be able to convert from our complicated x integral into a simpler u integral. So this should convert. 1/square root of x times dx converts to 2 du. And sine of square root of x is going to convert to sine of u. All right, and now we just think, do we know a basic antiderivative for sine? We do. Be careful with your negatives. Just think what differentiates back to sine. It's not cosine. Cosine differentiates to negative sine. Here, what would differentiate to positive sine is negative cosine. So our antiderivative for sine is negative cosine. So we have a factor of 2 times cosine of u. And we just back substitute our u here as square root of x. So we should get for our antiderivative negative 2 times cosine of square root of x. And that is it. Now it's worth pointing out that here, cosine of square root of x, this is not cosine times square root of x. Sometimes in class, I'll actually emphasize this by writing this as negative 2 times cosine of, and I'll put the of part, square root of x, in parentheses, emphasizing that square root of x goes inside the cosine function. We're not multiplying here. So both of these versions here are exactly the same. This one is somewhat standard. For clarity, this version should be used. Again, that's so students realize square root of x is inside the cosine function. We're not multiplying. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're learning a lot. If you are, like and subscribe.